You know, nothing truly beats a good cup of tea in the morning. Today is a weekend, which means we have another episode of Weekend Dub. I've been spending the last week looking at other people's portfolios and being inspired by them. And I was wondering, hey, whatever happened to my website? So I go online and I type in my website, ardug.com, and ouch, flywheel, you even hit me with my favorite movie line. So yeah, that is the motivation I need to bring back my site again. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. So let's get started. Alright, so step one is usually the design phase. And here I was thinking, okay, so a person's website is like the place where they call home. In my opinion, what's home on a computer, it's the terminal. So I decided to make the theme a terminal theme. And I also wanted to have like the header, which usually brings us back to the main page, to be like a terminal command path. So that's why I added this over here. And well, the next couple of steps are basically generic, like you add your name, a little bit of a bio, and then I wanted to add some navigations that has the terminal path look and feel, you know? Because we're on a weekend and I don't have all the time in the world, so yeah, 3 pages are enough. This is one. The second page is gonna be the projects page, where I like the idea, if you've been working with code for a while, so whenever you download a package, you'd get these terminal commands checks and like sometimes a table and stuff. And I like that idea to have it as a list of the projects that I did. So that was the inspiration behind this design. And then finally, the contacts page is gonna be a normal contact page, and yeah. So that's the design. Now let's get coding. Okay, now here's the fun part, which is basically we're getting to turn that design into an actual product, which first of all, I'm gonna start with building the skeleton, which is the terminal container. And then I'm gonna give the header container, which will basically have the buttons, the 3 dots that, you know, close, open, and expand. And then I am gonna add another container, which will hold the logo, which I said it's gonna be the thing that will be consistent with all the pages so I can go back to the main page. Now we have the header container. So this is gonna be consistent, the header with all the pages, so great. Now the main content. When we look at the design, this usually depends on the person. Each person like builds a component in the way that they see fit. For me, I love to make elements that are together in a certain block just to make it easier when it comes to styling. So over here, I'm gonna have a top container and I'm gonna have a bottom container. In the top container, I'm gonna add like the generic elements, which is like the paragraph, which will have my name. Then I'm gonna just add a little bit of snippet about a bio. And then at the bottom is where the list will happen, which is basically where we're gonna navigate it. Since we have 3 pages, I'm gonna add 3 list elements. I think I also want to include a terminal feel to it. So I'm gonna go back to the top. We're gonna go back to Flywheel and Distem and say, hey, yes, this is the set you're looking for. And then I'm gonna add a typewriter animation, which usually manipulates the size so it gives it the typewriter feel. And yes, great, we have it. Now, before I move on, I want to add a little bit of more interactivity. So whenever I press the keyboard buttons up or down, I want it to move within the menu to indicate which one is being highlighted. So I am going to target these elements, and what usually I would do, I would remove the highlighted classes from all the elements, and then the one that's selected at the moment, add to it the yellow highlight and selected class. And there we have it. Let's go. Now we're gonna go to the second page, which is basically, it's just gonna be styling a single element, then looping over all the projects. All right, so again, this is all basically building components. So first thing, we're gonna have the name of the project, and then I'm gonna have the container that will have the table, and this is where we're gonna take advantage of Flex and Flex Grow, which, or was it Flex Bases? I'm not sure yet. But basically to give the columns an equal size, it will align properly. So we're gonna add the description value, and then the status. The status, this is where it would show if I'm still working on the project, or if it's closed, or if it's stopped. And then we're gonna add tools that were used for the project, or repo name if it's available, and yes, it looks good. But before we move on, I kind of wanna make it interactive. As you can see at the top, I wrote ls, which usually in the terminal, wherever you are, it lists all the item in that folder or directory. And over here, I want to, whenever I write ls, for the projects to come one and after another. It would give it make it alive. Animations make the website alive. So what am I gonna do is I'm gonna add an event listener that listens to the animation end of that typewriting effect. And then it would go over each project one by one and adds a little bit of delay between each one and stacks them up one after the other. And there we have it. It looks cool. It actually makes it like it's alive a little bit. I like how it looks. And also the links are working. It navigates to these websites. So we're on a good path, my guys. We're on a good path. Now let's go to the contact page, which thankfully is the easiest page. All I have to do is just write, I put the header on top, and then just add the content and then the list of the social accounts that people can find me in. Yay. We have a full-fledged website, my guys. We have a full-fledged website. Okay, so now I hope you're wondering, why do I have a left area that's empty? And that's where I tell you, this is where I wanted to experiment and have some fun. So for a very long time now, I have been fascinated with ASCII art. Look at how amazing these images are. What? And it was also so interesting that it dates back to the 1800s and people were using typewriters to make images. My God, that is so much fun. How can I do that using a script? So I read more about it and I learned that one of the basic techniques is mapping the characters to the intensity of the color in that image. And for them to do that, first of all, we need to resize the image to make sure the aspect ratio is correct. And then we turn the image into grayscale. Why? Because it's easier to map grayscale images instead of colors, because colors, it gets more complicated. And again, we're just starting here and we're having fun. Let's go with the easy option, which is grayscale. Anyways, then what we need to do is match the pixels to the ASCII characters, which is the one we predefined. The more intense the color is, so let's say it's black, the more intense the character is, but the less intense the color is, which is white, the more spaces the character would have. So if it's white, it would be an empty space, and if it's black, let's say, based on the characters we have in ours, it would be the @ sign. And then after that, what you do is you just save the image. Now, what I wanted to do first is basically, I wanted to capture movement. And please don't laugh, I've been trying with this green screen the whole day, and that's what I ended up with. And yeah, it was some awkward moments, but yeah, we were having fun. What I did was I took the video and then I made sure to change the background to white because I don't want to show any background. I just want it to be me, the silhouette. And as I told you, the brighter the color is, the more less intense the character is. So then what I did, I made a function called video to ASCII, which basically takes the video, it opens it, and it gets the single frame, and then it goes through the process of giving it a grayscale, mapping the pixels with the ASCII characters, and then returning it to me, and then I append it to an array, and then finally I would save that whole file into a JSON file. Now we have it, which works. Yay, it looks great. Now, how am I gonna add it to my website? I have it as a JSON file, but I still don't have it on my website. To add it on my website, I thought, you know what? We were playing with P5 the last episode. Now it's time to actually put it into practice into my own site. So what I did was I opened the JSON file And then I did a grid because these are going to be grid of characters, remember? And grid is a loop inside of a loop. And then I would take each character and draw it on the canvas screen. All I had to do was just change the text font to monospace because that's the way text is on the terminal, and voila, we have it. And it looks so good. I love it so much. Now, what I'm gonna do is I want each page to have its own ASCII art. So this one's the introduction. I want the projects to be like I'm working on a laptop, and I wanted the contact to have two of me. So it's like, hey, two people connecting together. So let's do that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the website route. So I'm gonna take the path name, and from the path name, I would load the proper JSON for each website. And that's basically it. That's how we got it to work. And you guys, look at this website. I love it, honestly. It was so fun to make. We got my website back up again. Now all I have to do is make it responsive, because it's not really responsive right now. But I think that's a project for another day, because the weekend ended, honestly. Another project done, and honestly I love it. It was so much fun to make. So like, I learned a lot doing this, and I read a lot about ASCII arts. Guys, do you know that there is a project that did the whole Star Wars movie using ASCII art? Like, what? Star Wars is becoming a theme in this episode, isn't it? Anyways, I want to say a massive thank you to all the new people who came and like joined me in this journey. I am truly honored. And if you have any ideas of projects you want to see, comment them down below. I love to hear your opinions, and I'd love to interact with all of you guys. So yeah, let's keep this going, and let's see what we're gonna do in the next episode. So no, I genuinely need to work on an outro, but yeah, bye.